Ancient Rome. I was left to my own devices.
Well, you can make it synchronized in the edit.
No, it's too much work.
No, that doesn't sound likely, does it? That would be interfering with the past. And if I've learned anything from Doctor Who, it's that you definitely don't do that.
This is Podtor Who Cast, and this is The Fires of Pompeii, and it was broadcast on the 12th of April, 2008. It was written by James Moran, who, Michelle, you remember James Moran from writing Sleeper for Tortured Series 2.
Wow.
Not the first tortured writer to fail upwards either.
I just want to say, damn, like, what happened to the budget? Because, like, it just shot up. Like, it looks so good. I was like, what the fuck?
Because they went to Pompeii. They went to Italy. They shot...
Oh, okay.
Honestly, you can really tell. This story looks amazing. There's almost no point doing a historical if you shoot it on a set. It's a bit sad.
Real quick, Michelle, what do you think of this episode?
Modern art!
Ah, like in the episode.
Like in the episode, he says that. By the way, I have never seen this episode until today.
Insane.
This was my first time watching it. I skipped it the first time I watched Series 4.
Sure.
I skipped it. Listen, I cannot explain this. There are things in the world I can explain. You can make a box set of just the episodes I skipped, the skipped 4.
They're 13 episode seasons. It's not like...
But it was 2011. I was a child. I was 15. Yeah, I skipped Waters of Mars. I have not seen Waters of Mars.
Oh my god. So you're not missing anything important then?
The whole episode, the Doctor's like, it's a fixed point in time. Cool, okay. Wouldn't he, the moment he realizes that it's him who makes it, also go, then that means that history is sort of in flux? If I can choose not to do it, then that makes it not a fixed point in time, therefore I can save people?
We really shouldn't delve that deep into the intervention laws of Doctor Who because it gets murky.
Fixed points in time are just like bits of paperwork the Time Lords don't want to bother filing, so they're just like, yeah, you can't interfere.
Fires of Pompeii is a really odd one to miss out on because it does end up being one of the most important stories of the David Tennant run. It sneaks back in some really creative ways. And the fact that you also miss Waters of Mars.
Yeah, bigger crimes are being committed right now.
See, that's fun, Michelle, because I actually came ready today with an essay about all the parallels between this and Waters of Mars. So...
Imagine you found yourself somewhere, I don't know, Pompeii.
Imagine you were in Pompeii.
What the hell's that got to do with it?
Did you get it? Mars, the god of war? He's the god of war?
Yeah. Whenever Lucius Petrus Dexter showed up, I was like, I have seen this guy's face. And then I realized he's the cab driver from the first Sherlock episode. The guy who's like, oi, Moriarty did hire me, he did.
That's a Silius guy as well. I swear to God, there's a couple faces to recognize in this story.
Who?
That don't go unappreciated.
I don't know who else.
Yeah, it's not really doing much to spell the whole Britain only has 6 actors joke.
It's very, I will say it is very funny.
Michelle's never watched it before. David, I was just going to ask, what's your relationship to this episode?
Series 4 was a weird series for me because, one, it was the first series where I didn't watch it all on transmission because I went to a birthday party and I missed Doctor's daughter because I had to go to someone else's house.
That's the essential Doctor Who experience.
I think it does really interesting stuff with regards to who the Doctor is as like a figure. The minute she asked him, could you help just one person? He's like, fuck off, no, I can't, because I'm the Doctor. You know, it's my curse, it's my burden. What else would you expect from me?
Yeah, it's top, isn't it? Like Aztecs and Father's Day before it. It's so confrontational.
It's kind of piggybacking off of Runaway Bride as well, how Series 4 is so much about deconstructing who the Doctor is, more compromising, and how important it is for the Doctor to be the Doctor and for the companion not to be the Doctor. Mm-hmm. We'll see, especially later on with Martha and River, in the finale Donna, how being part of his inner circle ultimately means you either compromise who you are as a person, trying to match up with him, or you die, you know?
Yeah, Russell's Doctors are always the ones with their hands on the button. Whenever I watch Journey's End these days, I think of that bit with John Hurt and how ashamed the Doctor must feel that he's got them all emulating that day of his life.
You do raise a good point about like trolley problems that introduced by this episode, and how it is very like it does echo quite a bit throughout.
Yeah, the core of this story is: do we detonate Pompeii, or do we let use Pompeii to take over the entire world? A self-assured woman walking in and laying the moral law down to crusty sci-fi rules. That's the revival's main beat.
Yeah,
And it's the best thing Doctor Who has. It fucking rules. He does come away negatively learning the wrong lesson from from saving a family from Pompeii in the long run. I'm just so happy that Revival T. Davis decided, we're ditching all of this. We are making a story about actual humanity.
Absolutely.
We cannot limit ourselves with the sci-fi rules over the moral rules.
And it does all culminate in that very, very good scene with Catherine Tate.
Up goes the beach! Up goes the beach! Goes the hill!
Yeah, like this is really, really good. It was almost as good as the scene when like the Doctor comes back for Caecilius and he holds out his hand and Caecilius looks at him and goes, "Don't forget to subscribe to the official Doctor Who YouTube channel."
I did think it was weird when he said that back in 2008.
Yeah.
She is returning.
Who's she?
you know what's really weird? Prophecies.
Yes.
Because like I had like a Nostradamus era when I was a kid for some reason. I don't know why. I was really into Nostradamus for like a month. I was like, he's my guy, he's my dude. Today's version of a prophecy would be like, fan theories. It's kind of interesting as well to like contrast like the idea of a fixed point in time. I guess it's like, when you do like cold readings, and it's like, do you know a guy called Tony? No. What about Tommy? No. What about Tom? Yeah.
Well, the thing about prophecies is that they're also very, very vague. I also got into a Nostradamus phase where I read his prophecies, and it's always stuff like, one day there will be a boom. And somebody was like, he predicted the atomic bomb. It's like,
Fixed
no.
points kind of are prophecies, if you really think about it. Just another set of rules for Doctor Who to look at and then knock over. To us, he's also saying the rules of canon are mine and they will obey me. Sorry, Michelle, you won't get that one.
So this episode was replaced a World War II set story called The Suicide Exhibition by Mark Gatiss, our man. It would have involved the Nazi task force assaulting the Natural History Museum in London, which has been overrun by monsters. Later action would have involved the discovery of a secret chamber beneath the museum. I just want to say, I want to see that, but also terrifying thought to imagine this duo dealing with Nazis.
Listen here, sunshine. What an odd premise. I'm so happy we got this, because that does not sound like a premise that would allow us to see the best of Donna, whereas this story totally does.
Yes. I think this was a really, really good episode for Donna. This is like an essential Donna episode, and as a result, it's an essential 10th Doctor episode.
It's her best outing. It's where her gobbiness actually works for the story. Her empathy works for the story. And the fact she can actually put her foot down and say, right, no. Like, there's a great line where, like, I don't know what kids you've been traveling with, but you're not going to tell me to shut up. Mm-hmm. And putting that in, like, such an important moment in history. It's fantastic. The Doctor needs his ass kicked more often. So when you get around to stories like Thin Ice, where the same conundrum comes about, and a similarly outspoken character can throw his own words back at him, like, the Doctor will one day have the right answer to these difficult questions, where he definitely doesn't in Fires of Pompeii. His answer is, just ignore it, go away, we in and out, we need to leave. The Time Lords were objectively correct. I've never once questioned Time Lord logic and judgment.
Also, I think this story really could only happen with 10. I think every other Doctor would either leave or try to change
it nonchalantly. Yeah. I always found it really fascinating how he's just so enamored with the rules. He genuinely buys into the Time Lord's power, their authority, but there's moments that also just make him look like a little boy lost. He describes the tapestry of time. Like, that metaphor was taught to him as a school kid in the academy, and he's still reciting something he was taught as a kid by people he actively ran away from. And it's like, yeah, he's still repeating Time Lord propaganda. And you have to wonder, is that the entire premise of Fixed Points built on a lie? I have unpacked it before on my channel, and I didn't get very far.
Mm-hmm.
I always saw Fires of Pompeii as a deprogramming story for the Doctor.
I would also say it is very interesting where the 10th Doctor is eventually going. It does, talking about this, what you said, that this is kind of like him at his most self-mythologizing.
He's worshipped as a god at the end. He's a household god, literally.
It does feel kind of like the show is going through a detox where it's like, okay, if we're gonna hand this off to somebody else, we gotta like get this like shit out. And it's kind of weird that it comes back in 12th Doctor, this whole like the most important person in the universe.
Let's go back to tourism instead of the arbiter of all historical events.
Yeah.
I think this story puts all that stuff to bed so well. And I know it's not like a great answer, just save somebody. It's sort of like meeting him in the middle. But it's empathy first, and then history as it has to be. Decided by who? Oh, decided by the elite deciders of historical canon, of course. The Time Lords. Yes, see, that's dodgy if you're doing a time travel series. His history can be changed, it should be changed, because people matter more than events, and this comes up time and time again. By the time of Series 4, it's odd to see him double back down in that, no, I'm the final protector of how things should be. It's like, what? Don't defend the status quo, Doctor Who, please.
Just once I want to see the Doctor be like, my new companion, we can go anywhere in space and time, and they go, 1944, and he goes, no, not there.
Okay, you're out, actually.
Just don't touch 39 to 45. Get out.
Where would you like to go? The September 11th train bombings of London. What?
No.
What?
No. Out. That's the first test, actually. That's a new test. The Doctor brings the new companion in, and they like, all right, where you want to go? And keep in mind, you can go anywhere you want, anywhere in recent time. Any big events in recent time, say 2000 to 2002. Do you want to do anything? And if they say 9/11, they go, get out.
Test. That is
you
the
lost.
test.
You didn't pass the test. Out.
Just save someone. Actually, if that's actually a really good tangent into what I think this story does so well. We've just joked about a 9/11 comparison very tastefully. I think what Pompeii does is its main concern is modernizing the past. It's historical. It purposely makes everybody we meet feel modern and real and a breathing actual person. I think it's so good at that for sympathy reasons later. And I really appreciate it like that. It turns Pompeii into not just like a museum exhibit, it turns it into, like, to Donna, these may as well be like people on the ground and September 11th attacks. Yeah. No, but you get exactly what I mean, I hope.
Do you remember that like they found the guy in Pompeii who like looked like he was like cranking one out as the fucking volcano hit?
Yeah, you do the same.
Yeah. Doctor, save someone, and they arrive in the. It's like, oh, maybe not this.
I just like the visual metaphor of them turning to stone in front of them, because the Doctor literally sees them as museum exhibits, and we as an audience probably do as well. Last time me and Michelle shot the shit over a Doctor Who episode, he did me the courtesy of reading the Target novelization.
Oh, yeah!
So I thought I would return the favour. I've just this morning finished the Fires of Pompeii Target novelization. It doesn't add much, and then I'm also realising it doesn't need to, because it's such an efficient script. It's tight.
I do have to ask if there is a moment in the novelization where they fix an egregious mistake in which Donna says, are we in Epcot? Donna, you fool, there is no Rome Pavilion in Epcot. How dare you? Correct your joke immediately.
In fairness, that is the single funniest joke of the revival, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I love that so much.
One of these days, I want them to be like, are we in Epcot? And the Doctor goes, yes. Just pull back to reveal.
Test track in the background.
Yeah.
That's actually what I'm submitting to the Big Finish short trip competition.
Actually, now that you're saying it, I mean, they are with Disney now, so
Oh God, no!
it feels like inevitable to have an episode where it's like, where are we? Open doors. We're in Disneyland.
Oh
like,
no, Michelle! Like all the old sitcoms that would have a Disneyland special in the 80s.
Right, they're gonna go to Disneyland.
Michael Eisner. Hello, Doctor Who.
Hello. Yes, the novelization.
Novelization.
More, please.
Okay. It really mostly focuses on the genuine animosity between Ten and Donna. The novel pushes it a lot further. In the episode, they play it more like back and forth banter and they get a bit short with each other. She interrogates the specifics of Time Lord interference. She's actually going through right, tell me what the rules are. Like we the viewers are. It's like, no, be specific. Tell us what we can and cannot do, motherfucker. The target novelizations are so interesting because you can tell like a writer has had this idea in their head for a decade at this point. Apparently, it's the explosion of Vesuvius itself. Apparently, the volcano explosion was so big that it opened a temporary crack in time. This is true. And that's how the Pyrovile managed to get time prediction abilities.
We all know this. This is talked about in school. Yes. I remember when my teacher was like, so Vesuvius exploded, and then time split open like an egg.
These aren't the greatest Doctor Who baddies of all time. But to make it worse, James Moran opens this novelization by saying they just crashed by accident. Kind of doofy.
Oh, cool.
They just laid in the earth, became like sediment, and then like, oh, fuck.
Well, I think the thing that this does is that the banter is there, but it is never superseding the drama. It is auxiliary. It's like a release valve a little bit. So the stuff with they set up the Celtic running joke, right? So you go, okay, every time they speak Latin, they're hearing Celtic.
Celtic prayers won't help you now.
That's a great joke. It's a good gag, and it keeps coming back. And I do feel like after a certain point, they just stop with the jokes.
You bring up the TARDIS translation circuit. That's like a joke about the fan minutia. But it's actually like integral to the story that we're telling here. I don't know how he does it. It's a very clever thing James Moran does because it adapts like voices and sayings into like things that Donna can recognize. Oh, he's Cockney, he's a Marquis, he's a Delport. It makes them feel like real familiar people. Why does Pompeii just refuses to make them feel small? There's a great bit when Lucius and Evelina start zoning in on the Doctor and Donna. It's shot so sick, but that is the moment where the episode actually gets a bit real, gets a bit scary. It's the historical biting back.
They're laughing at us. Those two, they use words like tricksters, they're mocking us.
We're underestimating these people because we're looking at through the veneer of a period piece, and it's nearly a fourth wall break. There's characters in this that overhear, like, you said we're all gonna die? And it's like, yeah, guys, these innocent people can hear your witty banter at their expense. It's just like Moran is training you to not think of people you encounter in the past as small. And I really appreciate that. It's a good way to keep them exciting.
James Moran, he wrote Cockneys versus Zombies. That's the only thing I remember him breaking because I remember seeing it on Twitter and being like, well.
Did you say Cockneys versus Zombies? Oh, God. 2010 was not a good time for society.
I'm actually reading here that says that Caecilius' descendants wrote Cockneys versus Zombies. So I think it is important that, you know, that family is allowed to survive. So
It's influential. It's a big episode. It wears its budget on its sleeve, and it's important in ways you don't really realise until onto the next series or two. Let's never have another script from him ever again.